This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett could give a decision as early as tomorrow in the access case involving the Bahamas Teachers Union and the Ministry of Education.
The union contends that executive officers were denied access to school premises for meetings, and shop stewards were also denied permission to put up union notices. Meantime, both sides returned to court today expecting a ruling. However, after hearing submissions, the Chief Justice adjourned the case to Friday morning. Hypocritical is how National Insurance Minister the Honorable Shane Gibson described criticism from Opposition Deputy Leader Loretta Butler Turner following the announcement of the awarding of a $20 million contract. The contract to construct a new office complex for the Ministry of National Security on John F. Kennedy Drive was awarded to Holiday Industrial Builders, a company owned by contractor Reverend Lloyd Smith. Smith was the original contractor for the Office of the Attorney General building, also on JFK Drive. According to the minister, the process was not only fair, but also along the lines already established for the awarding of contracts through a process called selective tendering. It's a process he maintains is very familiar to the former government, as it was used extensively by the Ingram administration in the awarding of multi-million-dollar contracts.
The FNM was responsible for building on Meaden Street that houses the Department of Public Service and the Ministry of Health. They built that building with national insurance money. That didn't go out to public tendering. That went to selective tendering. They built the Ministry of Education building, which Loretta Butler Turner herself in Parliament got up and said they had to spend in excess of $2 million for mold remediation and correcting the air conditioning problem. She said that. Right, you know, we had to move everybody out of the Ministry of Education building for a while in order to remediate the mold in that building. That's the building they built with national insurance money. They didn't go to public tendering, they went to selective tendering. They built a building at Freeport, administrative complex, they went to selective tendering. They built the police headquarters in Grantham Hammer from national insurance, that went to selective tendering. They built the administrative building in Abaco, that went to selective tendering. They built an airport in Abaco for $27 million to FES, that went to selective tendering. I spoke extensively on that in Parliament. We went to tendering. We had a tender exercise for the building, and Holiday Industrial won the tender exercise. They won it. We didn't do like them when they terminated Holiday Construction and gave the contract to Jones Construction. We went to tender. He won the tender.
After Smith's contract was terminated, the matter went to arbitration, and Holiday Industrial Builders won a settlement against the government of over $700,000. According to Minister Gibson, the political decision to cancel Smith's contract has resulted in significant cost overruns in the tens of millions of dollars. He maintains it's a cost that could have been avoided had Smith been allowed to complete the project.
He had $4.6 million left of the contract. They immediately cost the taxpayer $4 million more by giving a contract to Jones Construction for $8.6 million. Jones Construction didn't finish the building. They then had to hire subcontractors directly to do work. They did a lot of work in that was questionable. They never got the electrical inspections, never got the occupancy certificate. Eventually, we had to actually pull out most of the electrical wires over there because they were not labeled properly. They were not the right gauge wires, and the whole thing was a mess. Mm-hmm. I don't know who was responsible, but at the end of the day, it was a mess. It had to be corrected.
In other news tonight, the Haitian market could be creating employment opportunities in the construction industry. As it stands now, Haiti is encouraging Bahamian contractors to apply for jobs in the northern part of the Bahamas. This comes as both countries are now seeking ways to reduce the migration problem. Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell explained to us Haiti's employment position for Bahamians.
The main issue they're talking about is Bahamians investing in the north of the country. Bahamian firms participating in the activities in Haiti. For example, road building. There's a huge boom in road building. There's undercapacity in our road construction firms here. And the question is, why don't Bahamian construction firms actually bid for work in Haiti? Because his idea is, if we can provide the jobs in the north of Haiti, then people will stay at home because it's all economics driven.
Still ahead for us tonight, could a cane toad be in your backyard? Hear what experts have to say.
And urban renewal kids getting a real treat today. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. Just over a year after the $30 million Cove Luther Resort opened its doors, it's already making waves on the international scene. During the recent Caribbean Hotel and Resort Investment Summit in Miami, the Eleuthera-based development was named Development of the Year. The Cove has 70 rooms, a mix of villa and suite combinations, and stretches over 40 acres on the northwest side of Eleuthera. Finalists in the category also included the Ritz-Carlton Aruba and the Westin Punta Cana Resort and Club in the Dominican Republic. In other business news, San Jose, California-based River Meadow Software Inc., developer of the world's only automated cloud onboarding and workload mobility platform developed specifically for carrier and service provider clouds, announced a partnership with Cloud Carib, an offshore cloud service provider based here in Nassau, to accelerate offshore cloud migrations. Under terms of the agreement, Cloud Carib will resell the River Meadow cloud migration software as a service to its customers, and the company will work together to offer programs that will help accelerate customer cloud adoption initiatives. And in international business news, officials in Venezuela plan to start crushing abandoned cars and bicycles to provide raw materials for housing construction and supplement drastically reduced amounts of local steel. Reuters is reporting that the country's deputy justice minister said during a visit to an abandoned car deposit outside Caracas that they have more than 10,000 automobiles, more than 9,000 cars, and close to 600 bicycles. With that quantity of steel, officials said it could be used for rebars, which reinforce concrete in the construction of thousands of housing units. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swing.